guys, today I'm at the Art of Living International Center in Bangalore, and I'm sitting here with this amazing person known as Brahmachari Deepak, who's the trustee of Vedic Dharma Samastan.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah.
Why are we here? Because I've shown you many rotating lingams in several ancient temples, but we have to manually rotate these lingams, right? But these two lingams in front of us, we don't even have to touch them, and these lingams will rotate by themselves. Yes, and that's exactly what we're going to show you today. Okay. Where did these, have you done a scientific analysis on these?
Yes, in 2007, there was, the paper which was created by the Agnihotris, and it's very interesting that it proves how the lingam used to be elevated in the air.
Okay.
Because this lingam has magnetic properties,
Okay.
and it's unlike any other magnet. Normally, a magnet has poles in the periphery, in the circumference, like positive, negative. This has its poles in the center.
Okay.
And the gauge, normally magnets have 15, 20, 25. This is 144, 150 gauge. So it's a very unique, we cannot call it a magnet, and it has all the magnetic properties. And normally magnets are made up of iron, metals. This has less than 2% iron. So the research has been done, and it's very beautiful. So it's a lingam or a shila like this has never been found in India, they say.
Okay. Can we do a demo? Can you do a demo of the magnetic property of this?
Yes. So when Ayaskant, when you touch, it has Ayaskant properties, and so you will see that it has the magnetic properties, and it rotates. And it's very rare, we say that a magnet is white in color.
Yeah. Can I do it?
Yes.
Okay. So just make sure it doesn't fall. So we can see, so we're just holding it. So when I get closer to it, I'll see what happens. So this is definitely magnetic. That's why it has that, huh? Here, you can see how it reacts with a magnet. There is some very strange magnetic behavior by this Jyotirlinga, but I cannot post this information here. So I have posted this demo in the members-only community. Please click on the join button below to watch that exclusive video. That is amazing, huh? Usually, see, and he brings up a very good point. So normally, we do have natural magnetic stones. They're called lodestones. So they would have more than 70% iron or Fe.
Yeah.
But this one, the lingams that we are showing here, has only about 2% of iron or Fe. It actually has a majority of barium, which is what makes it white. And it's very strange that
magnesium, barium.
It's very strange that it has less than 3% of iron, and it's a very strong magnet. And what we see from moving here is that there's less magnetism at the poles, and there's more magnetism at the center, which is very rare, which is not natural if you think about it. and we have to wonder how such a stone exists, right? So what do geologists say? Do they have stones like this on?
Not yet found, but we cannot guarantee it's not yet found. So, this is very rare, and in our ancient scriptures we say that achakasya prabhavena shila bhavati shankara. So it's the power of the devotee,
okay,
and it's devotion which makes a shila into shankar.
Okay.
So for millenniums, millions of people have worshipped this.
Okay.
So it has to have special properties.
Okay. So you think people's psychic powers, just millions of people's devotion created this power, or you think it came
both?
Okay.
Both.
Okay. Do you think people, because it's common, if you go to a place like Gudimallam, they have a lingam there. Again, it's said to be one of the oldest lingams in the world, actually. They will claim that that particular lingam comes from outer space. It comes from a meteorite. So that's another common theory. Do they have any stories like this, that this came from Shivaloka?
In the scriptures, it's written that the Soma god had got this lingam and consecrated it. So the rest is for historians to say.
Okay.
But you can have any possibilities for this because it's not been found till now on Earth.
Okay. So such a compound does not exist naturally on our planet so far. What do the geologists say? Because we work with a lot of rocks, right? So I worked with granite, I work with basalt, we do all the temple architecture and stuff like that.
So have you found something like this?
I have not seen, the closest that I can think of is a pebble, right? It resembles a pebble, but pebbles don't have magnetic properties, so it's completely unique in that way.
And the point that it has its magnetism in the center might be an explanation to how a lingam of 3 feet is suspended in the air.
Yeah. How many lingams like this do you have?
11.
Oh, you have 11. Okay, that's very nice. So what are we planning to do? Or are they going to put some of them at the Somnath temple? Is that part of the plan?
See, the reason why these lingams have been revealed is because devotion needs to come out. So that's for Gurudev to decide on how this has to happen. But we feel that this is the time where war is so much prevalent, anger, depression, and the divine always has its ways to, express devotion through some means. And what I personally feel that a movement and a movement of devotion will rise through such a revelation.
Okay.
So we all know about Somnath Ji, and Somnath was one of the first Jyotirlingams, which was consecrated by the moon god Soma himself in the Satyuga. And it was told that the Shivling was around 3 feet tall, and it used to be suspended 2 feet in the air.
Okay.
And this was the cornerstone of Sanatan Dharma for millenniums. And it's said that even Krishna did his penance in Somnath. So we all know that around 1026 AD, Muhammad Ghazni attacked Somnath. 17 times he attacked and looted Somnath. And on the 18th time, he was very amazed by this, that how does a lingam, a stone like this, elevates in the air by itself. And people said it's an alchemy, and it gets, it touches into gold. So on his 18th attack, and that's where some Agnihotris took the fragmented pieces of the lingam and converted it into lingams and worshipped in South India. And we know Agnihotris are very staunch worshippers. I mean, they don't go out of the house. They eat food which is cooked by them only. Okay. They will drink water from the same well. So they worshipped and transferred, they took forward these lingams through a Guru Shishya Parampara, through generations. And in 1925, around 100 years back, the Agnihotris came to the then Shankaracharya of Padmacharya, Paramacharya of the Kanchipitam, Sri Chandrasekharan Saraswati ji. And he said that disclose and reveal these lingams only after 100 years.
Okay.
By then, the nation will get its independence and the Ram temple will be consecrated again. So then after 100 years, they went to the current Shankaracharya, and the current Shankaracharya directed them to His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji, and that's how these lingams have come here.
Okay.
So
when did we receive this in Bangalore?
In January.
In January 2025. Can you explain more about what a Jyotirlinga is?
Jyotir means light, and Linga means image, form. So, giving a form to the divine light is called Jyotirlinga.
Okay.
A divine light is formless, so giving it a form. That's a very good question.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have a lot of different types of lingams, right? But these are shaped from the fragments of a Jyotirlinga. And this is a very interesting concept that we have something called Jyotirlinga in ancient Indian texts. Because when we think of lingam or linga, this is made of matter, right? It's made of material, right? It's something tangible. But the word Jyotirlinga is a lingam made of a beam of light, right? Or energy, which is very interesting because we think a lingam should be made of matter, but this lingam is made of energy. And of course, E equals mc square, right? So it's replaceable. So energy and matter are replaceable. So which would just come as a philosophy, but here we see this. Here we see the energy embedded inside the Jyotirlinga. So it seems to have its own energy, which is really amazing. I have never seen this anywhere, by the way. And the fact that it's also Jyotirlinga, meaning that it has energy, is really amazing to me. It might have some very deep meanings that we don't fully understand. Now, was this the very first Jyotirlinga?
Yes.
Okay.
According to scriptures,
okay.
Somnath was the first Jyotirlinga.
Okay. Now, does that also mean that this is the very first lingam on the planet, or did other lingams exist before this? Other types
so out of the 12 Jyotirlingam, this has been the first.
Okay. Okay. There are many versions of this. Of course, I've shown you places like Gudimallam, where they claim this is the oldest lingam in the world. But according to some traditions, the Jyotirlinga is the very first lingam and on the planet. And that was originally installed in the Somnath temple. This is the oldest lingam. And it's very interesting. It's not only the oldest lingam on the planet, but it's also the very first object of worship. And what they're claiming is that Lord Krishna worshipped the Jyotirlingam in Somnath. That's more than 5,000 years ago. And they're claiming that Lord Rama worshipped the lingam at Somnath. That is much, much older. So what we may be looking at is the shape of the fragments of the oldest object of worship in the world. And this is truly amazing that we're able to see something like this.
Very beautifully put.
Thank you.
But this is the only kind of stone found on this planet Earth. this, like if you read the scriptures, then actually, this off records or on records, whatever you say, but if you read the scriptures, then this was the Soma, the god, the moon god, got this from where and consecrated it. So from where is something, officially we cannot say, but this is the only kind of stone which is present on this earth right now.
Yeah. Do you think he took it from Shivaloka or maybe the moon?
And it's been consecrated at Satyaloka. So,
okay.
And the main part is that, Gurudev always says that the devotion of the devotee is what gives power to the. So if Krishna has worshipped this, if Rama has worshipped this is unimaginable power.
Yeah.
As a dhatu also, you can technically say this is this, that. But achikasya prabhavena shila bhavati shankara. That's how the shila becomes shankara.
Okay.
Power of the devotee. And we are saying that Krishna has worshipped it, Rama has worshipped it, then.
Yeah.
And its revelation at this time, I feel, is the need for devotion to rise.
Yeah.
For bhakti to rise again.
Yeah. I would say it's more than a freaky coincidence that if we examine the historical records, exactly 1,000 years ago, in 1025, about the same time, in 1025, Mahmud of Ghazni comes and he completely ransacked the Somnath temple and he destroyed the Jyotirlinga. This is on record. I mean, of course, because of his faith, they thought that nobody should worship any kind of statue, so they destroyed the Jyotirlinga into pieces. And exactly 1,000 years later, right? So this happened in 1025. And exactly 1,000 years later, in 2025, the Jyotirlingas have come back to show their power. I would say this is truly amazing to see such a coincidence. We waited for a millennium, right? 1,000 years for the Jyotirlinga to resurface. And we can see, we can lay eyes on these amazing lingams. I would say that's pretty amazing. Now, here is a strange question for you. What do you think was the purpose of the Jyotirlingam in the temple? Do you think there was something other than devotion also? Like, I know that we go there and we pray to the lingams and all that stuff. But do you think it had some other purpose, perhaps to heal people, or some other kind of reason was there to create such an amazing lingam that was floating in midair with magnetic properties?
So, Jyotirlingam, like you said, Jyotir means light and Lingam means a form. Now, form is not male or female. That's why it's Lingam. And giving a form to that divine light is Jyotirlingam. And when people worship that, and over a period of time, that becomes like an energy center. So that becomes like an energy center for the whole, and depend on how powerful it is, how much the worship is, it becomes for the whole consciousness.
Okay.
So that's the main idea of a Jyotirlinga.
Okay.
To become an energy center where people worship, do sadhana.
Okay. Yeah. In modern technology, we repeatedly use something called electrotherapy also, where a person with pain would go and he would approach an object that has electromagnetism and that person gets healed. And of course, he's giving us an amazing point here, because we create an object, we create a lingam, we create a form, which is neither masculine nor feminine. And we keep on focusing on it. We chant mantras towards it. And it starts to have its own energy, and that energy consumes everyone. This is an amazing point that he brings up. Sometimes we also bring up, if it had a direct impact, was it created to heal people physically? through electromagnetic properties, because this is something that exists today. This is something that physiotherapists use today. You go there with back pain, they put an object on you and they deliver electromagnetism to you, and it heals you. So we start to look at this, and it would just be a theory if these lingams were not magnetic. But now that they are, we have to wonder how they really used it. There could have been a real physical value to it, where it's almost like people going to a doctor, right? And we see this again and again. If, let's say, a couple cannot have a baby, they go to a priest, and the priest sends them to some temples, and it could fix their problem. So was this also kind of used for healing, for practical healing purposes? This is something that we look into. How old, if you had to put a date on this, how old do you think this Jyotirlingam would be?
Consecrated in Satyuga, so, you cannot actually put a date to it.
Okay. Would that be thousands? No, would be probably like more than thousands. Would that be millenniums ago? Easily. Because the temple itself was there 1,000 years ago. That temple was in complete shambles, and it was rebuilt just after Indian independence. So we know that the temple already existed 1,000 years ago when Mahmud of Ghazni came and attacked it. So this temple itself must have been much, much older. So it's very hard to put a date on it. He's just mentioned that this was consecrated in Satyayug, but that puts a date like way beyond all the mainstream history books. We see those dates only in ancient texts, actually. Who do you think installed the large Jyotirlinga in the Somnath temple?
So, it is said in our ancient texts that the god of moon, Soma, he himself consecrated that Jyotirlinga in the Satyuga.
So, do you know which ancient text says that?
Shiv Puran.
Shiv Puran. Okay. So, I think we're at the end of this discussion. Of course, I had a great time. Thank you for showing us, these amazing lingams. He also helped us to touch it, to do a demo. We have done a very interesting demonstration with magnets. How is this Jyotirlinga magnetic? Why does it behave this way? I've explained this in our members only section. So please click on the join button below to watch that exclusive video. The lingams do move. They do have magnetic properties. I hope I can show you the test results soon. In conclusion, would you like to say anything? You can say anything you want.
Please come and visit the Somnath Jyotirlingams at the Art of Living International Center and experience its power and devotion.
Yeah, so we are at the Art of Living International Center in Bangalore. So if you guys come to Bangalore, you can definitely see these lingams. And the people here are very nice. Thank you for your hospitality and helping us, look at these amazing lingams. So I hope you guys like this video. I am PraveenMohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.